Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. I got the Navy SEAL stuff on today. Uh, this is my son's shirt and hat. So I settling his estate. I got some of his stuff, so pretty cool. All right, so you look at the things that are going on today, and you're like, what exactly? Where are we headed? Now, I think that we're already in 5D. I think that the deep state knows that we're in 5D, and they're trying to keep some of our consciousness and some of the people that are still attached to 3D trapped in that realm. So as more people start to increase in their conscious awareness of the things that are happening, we're going to be able to definitely go to the next level. So definitely, go into the consciousness level. That's going to allow you to manifest on a faster level. So I think that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing that things are happening on such a fast level because we're in the fifth dimensional reality already. All right. So there's still a catch up, and there's still a manipulation to stop us from more of us from moving into fifth dimensional reality and being aware of that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that right now. All right. So, but first of all, let's talk about how President Trump is really getting us ready for this next level of consciousness. U.S. adds 10 more mining projects to fast track permitting list. Now, a lot of people are like, what is, making money? Because a lot of people are like stuck in that reality, that false reality where if there's money, then, you're of the devil, the materialism and so forth. No money. If everyone had money, there would be no wars. If everybody had the ability for free trade, which President Trump's trying to do, then there would be no reason for wars. Main point, right? So that's where we're moving. We're moving to the point where everyone has what they need to raise their consciousness. So this is something that people are going to be doing on a more and more basis going forward, raising their consciousness. All right. Everyone is in that period of time where raising the consciousness is going to be very, very exceptional. It's a renaissance in consciousness. I've talked about this for years, how we're moving into that. Now, if you're fast tracking, which is called Fast 41 status, it's a federal initiative launched in 2015 to streamline approvals of critical infrastructure. So he named 10 projects to the list and said that more would be added in the future. All of the projects are listed on a federal U.S. website where their permitting progress can be publicly tracked, part of what the administration calls a push for greater transparency and faster permitting. So you might remember in President Trump's first term, he was all about, cutting the red tape so that there would be a fast track. You talk about how the highway system, building roads, it would take like 10 or 11 years to build a highway. He got it down to, it was all about permitting, and he got it down to a very, very low level of time. So that's what we're seeing. Manifestation increasing faster and faster in all things. So that's where we're moving. Of course, they're moving into an Alaska silver project. I like silver. All right, so silver is going to do really well going forward. I hope you guys have been listening and paying attention to my all of my posts and Dr. Elliott and so forth. Definitely the best place to get that silver is down in the description box. All right, so Trump says he talked to Apple CEO Tim Cook after China tariff rollback. So the tariffs got rolled back today. And it says mega cap tech adds more than $800 billion in market cap after U.S.-China tariff pause. So a lot of companies, that tariff war caused the U.S. stock market to tank. But there's a lot more, and that was just an excuse because the stock market will tank at some point. Will it continue to go up like it did today? I'm very skeptical. But it's going to be what it is. The market's manipulated, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. But President Trump said he talked to Apple CEO Tim Cook on Monday, today, after the U.S. and China agreed to suspend most tariffs for 90 days. Now, this happened. This was announced yesterday, and the futures on the stock market just exploded upwards, and the stock market today exploded upwards, and crypto went way down. All right. So I think from its peak to its valley today, Bitcoin, was up and down $5,000. So down 5,000 from its top. Other crypto, pulled back pretty heavily from resistance levels. So the stock market is moving towards resistance levels. President Trump, God bless him, is trying his best to keep that stock market afloat. But at some point, that puppy reality is going to hit pretty hard, guys. And we could see, like I said in my my title, are we headed for some kind of event, a 9/11 type event? That's a very extreme possibility, unfortunately. And but maybe the Trump administration will be able to prevent that, because, like I said, 5-dimensional reality. If more of us understand that, we can prevent a lot of the negativity from happening. I know a lot of people don't understand this at all, and I'll try my best to give you guys a description of that. Apple previously said in February it would spend $500 billion to expand many of its operations in the U.S., including assembling AI servers in Houston. So we're moving in a good direction. Obviously, these things are going to take time while the old system collapses. So right now we're in 5G warfare. So 5th generation warfare, 5G warfare. Probably some of you have heard of this talked about for quite some time. 5th generation, not to be confused with the 5th dimension. 5th generation is, it's generation after generation. There's kinetic activity. And what the 5th generation is non-kinetic, meaning if I punch you in the face, that's a kinetic move. And if I just look at you and you fall back because I look at you very strongly, that's like a 5th generational non-kinetic move. All right. So that's what a lot of things are going on right now. So this term, first used in 2003, describes a type of warfare that emphasizes non-military, psychological, and information-based tactics. It's characterized by non-kinetic action. Social engineering, misinformation campaigns, and cyber attacks are key tools. Any of that sound familiar over the last several years? Absolutely. Information and perception, the focus on influencing public opinion and manipulating perceptions. The Mockingbird media. And I'm going to show you guys a clip of that here in a second. Emerging technologies, artificial intelligence, obviously can be used for negative purposes. Autonomous systems, robots, and so forth, and other advanced technologies and drones, and other advanced technologies play a significant role. Now, when I worked with the CIA many years ago, drones were very significant, and drones right now in the Ukraine-Russia war are extremely, you can't go outside now. Vehicles, they're literally putting nets up over roads so they can run their vehicles down highways without being hit by drones. It's really next generation. It's next generation kinetic warfare, right? So the 5-generational warfare is just about psychology, non-kinetic action, social engineering, all that kind of stuff. So that's 5G. That's where we have been for the last 5 years, guys, here in the United States. Social engineering. I'm back on YouTube. You guys know that I was off of YouTube for several years. So the Trump effect, basically bringing back free speech again. I've never had free speech like this on YouTube. From the very beginning, I was censored. I've talked about a lot of things. I'm not going to push it too far, but I've talked about a lot of things over the last few weeks. I've only been back, I think, less than a month now. But over the last several weeks, I've talked about some things that I couldn't even touch before. So, and I've had Juan O'Savin on. I remember shows where I had Juan O'Savin on, and they went blank. They still try that, but they went blank while we're talking, and some of that stuff still goes on to a certain extent. But I've really not seen freedom like we're seeing right now, guys. Pretty much ever in social media since I've been full on, and I've been full on for quite some time. So here is 5 generational warfare right here for you to see.
We begin tonight with the escalation in the president's crackdown on illegal immigration.
Today's dramatic escalation in the Trump administration.
Now, why would they do this? They would do this because we are going after their judicial system, which is 5G. It's 5G controlling President Trump and all that would come in and do the right thing and turn things around and start to make it go in the right direction, which President Trump and team are doing on a 5D level. And that's really usurping and making the deep state, which is pretty much limited to 3 and 4D. They do have people that can do 5D. If you look at, for instance, Star Wars, they had the Black Sith and all those other, bad energies. Obviously, they were manifesting in a very high level dimensional realm. But the good guys, the light basically came back and started to win, and that's where we're at right now. So we're basically seeing Star Wars enacted for real in this reality now. People like me, have Jedi skills. I've talked about it for years. It's a real thing. It was talked about all the way back in the Egyptian timeframes. That's why you see Egyptian control systems all over all these obelisks, the Washington Monument obelisk, and all the major cities. New York has a real Egyptian obelisk, and St. Peter's Square is a real Egyptian obelisk. There used to be one. There's still one. Actually, there is still one because I just saw it in Istanbul, which used to be Constantinople. But, a lot of these places, and then, of course, you have the Shriners and the Masons and Illuminati. All of them have this energetic realm that they try and tap into, and they do to a certain extent. But we are, catching up with them, even though they're trying their best to suppress us. We're awakening, even with their suppression. So, with us taking down their 5th generational judicial control system, as we're doing right now, all they can do right now is try and play 5G from their side, and we're on to them. We have these memes like this all over the place. We're exposing it very quickly, so it's not effective.
It's conflict with judges.
The Trump administration signaling a major escalation in its deportation efforts.
Today, an escalation in the Trump administration's battle with the judiciary.
Tensions between local and federal authorities over President Trump's immigration crackdown escalated today.
We begin this hour with a major escalation of the Trump administration's crackdown on immigration.
We begin with what appears to be a major escalation in the Trump administration's deportation efforts. And what is a major escalation in the battle here in D.C. over immigration and deportation?
This feels like an insane and reckless escalation from the Trump administration arresting a judge. I will tell you, you are not alone.
It's a dramatic escalation.
More aggressive moves, more escalation.
Trump's escalation of his migrant purge. This kind of escalatory action. This is a dramatic escalation.
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 Placing an immigration, but an escalation.
It's just an escalation. Escalation. Can you say it? Let's do the dance. The escalation dance. Escalation. You guys suck. Your escalation sucks, and we're on to you. Your 5G sucks. All right. So our 5G works better because we're creative and you guys aren't. That's not creative. That sucks. All right, so let's understand the different states of consciousness. Let's move next level. All right, so now we understand, I hope, 5G. And if you don't, go listen to this 10 times, right, then you'll understand, or do your own research. That's always better because you're going to do the research and you're going to do the work, and that's going to really hit home. So if you're still confused, do the research. Do the research dance. All right. And here is where we're going to talk about 3D, 4D, and 5D. There is no doubt that other dimensions or realms exist in this universe. Now, when I talk about my abilities to do certain things, you also have those abilities and greater. Remember, Yeshua said that. These things I do, you will do and even greater. So yes, we are doing these things. Now, he did them thousands of years ago. It's taken us a little while to catch up, right? But we're there. We're there, right? There are people out there walking on water. They're not going to reveal themselves to the average person, but it is happening. All this stuff is happening. All right, so you may have seen them yourself through your dreams, through astral travel. You may have felt the experience of deja vu, or simply felt through a meditation that there was so much more to what we can comprehend. Yes, so meditation, if you're not into meditation, I do have meditation courses, right? And the Unleashing Intuition, you can go into my website where I have all these courses and learn how to meditate. All right, learn how to meditate. When I learned how to meditate, my warrior skills went way beyond everything, guys. My shooting went to another level. When I started teaching the hand-to-hand, there was a lot of resistance to the hand-to-hand in the Navy SEAL teams. A lot of guys are like, I have my weapon. What do I need that hand-to-hand bullshit for? And I was like, where's your weapon right now? And they knew that I was a badass with hand-to-hand. So that got them a little concerned. So then they started learning, right? And then once they learned hand-to-hand, then they were able to move into other realms of consciousness, because that's where you start to tap into these higher levels of consciousness, because you're creative in that zone. You're going into the alpha brainwave states, and alpha and the delta and theta brainwave states. And when you go into alpha and beta simultaneously, you can start to tap into a gamma brainwave, which is where you've heard about monks and all these crazy people and Navy SEAL trainees, being able to resist extremely cold water and do amazing things that the average person, they would just do one thing like log PT, the level that SEAL trainees do in Hell Week, and you'd be white for the rest of the week. They do that, and then they continue with hammer sessions after hammer sessions for the whole week. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So these levels of consciousness are, Navy SEALs tap into them. Green Beret guys tap into it. You're pushed into these zones of consciousness through extreme physical activity, but you don't have to. You can go to the meditative state and learn the meditative states like I teach, and you can tap into this stuff too. So, yeah, in fact, it is most likely that majority of people on Earth are moving back and forth across 2 or 3 of these dimensional states of consciousness, depending on where they're at in their lives. So many of us are in this 5th dimensional state, coming back to teach other people in the 3-dimensional state, hey, you don't have to be in that state of consciousness. It's very low, right? Why don't you join us over here in 4 and 5D? It's much better. So 3D consciousness is viewing things from a purely physical state. You are seen as an individual that is separate from others. We have seen that, haven't we? We have seen that from a lot of people during COVID. We saw a lot of this today, with, people that support Trump and don't support Trump. So there is a lot of very separate 3D activity going on out there. Life feels like the survival of the fittest, and you are identified by the way you look, the job you have, the car you drive, and the people you surround yourself with. You feel fearful about missing out or not having enough. FOMO, fear of missing out. All right. So there's a lot of people out there like that. Things are perceived as good or bad, and life is competition. There is not enough for everyone, and some people have to miss out. So that's very unfortunate for people to be in 3D. All right. But we know that exist, and there are a lot of people stuck there, especially people that are on the dark path. Many people believe that the fourth dimensional state acts like a gateway to the fifth, and it does. When in 4D, it's easy to travel back to a 3D state. However, this jump in consciousness is much more difficult when you reach 5D. And I will say it's really not. It's that when you reach 5D, you don't want to go back to 3D. So 4D consciousness begins to awaken to the idea that we're all connected and that there is more to life than what meets the eye. This is where the love frequency starts to come in, working with other people. That's what the Navy SEAL teams are all about. If you've been in sports, you learn to work with other people. You learn that some people have gifts in one area, you have a gift in another area. When you work together, you can accomplish amazing things. So this is like a 4D consciousness. Thoughts are powerful and can shift the way reality is perceived. Duality and the idea of good and bad is still experienced, but there is more compassion and understanding behind it. There is an opening to the importance of diet, meditation, and leading a healthy lifestyle. All right, so this is where we're going with Maha. So Maha is, we know that the Kennedy family are Democrats, and the Kennedy and Democrats, God bless Democrats, at one time were very much into the holistic, meditative, not so much the economy and more of a balance. They're totally into taking care of the environment, environmentalists, but they took that environmentalism to crazy land, right? So that's unfortunate. Democrat Party has strayed quite substantially, unfortunately. But at one time, that's where they were. So that is what I believe Maha is bringing us back to that good balance of diet, meditation, leading a healthy lifestyle. So that's where, fortunately, our Maha RFK Jr. is taking us. Strong desire to find your purpose and to follow your passions. You perceive the world through six senses, and your intuition, the intuition being the sixth sense, starts to grow and expand. And you seek deeper meaning to life, and you can start to see the synchronicity magic of the universe. That sounds pretty cool, right? I know a lot of you, probably all of you at this point that are listening, are very much into this state of consciousness. Now, 5D, once you reach 5D consciousness, very difficult to be like 3D state from this end, but not impossible, right? So many of us have compassion for those that are still in lower states of consciousness. That's why we still exist here at this level of 3D reality to a certain extent. From this level of consciousness, you begin to understand that we are all one and we are all connected. Now, some of you out there that are having a little trouble with this, think about where you might be in consciousness land, right? So if you're having resistance to this or feeling anger, that I'm telling you there's higher levels of consciousness, maybe you need to really do a meditation, right? Life becomes an adventure of growth, and there is no such thing as good or bad. So I don't see anything bad that you may think that I'm bad because I'm putting this information out. There's a lot of people that think I'm bad because I'm basically raising consciousness, and the deep state does not want this to happen. They are very resistant to that, and they attack everyone that tries to do this. There is a higher purpose for all things, and every experience holds meaning. There are stronger feelings of love and connected. What I say at the end of every show, stay in the love vibration, right? And connectedness with others. The planet and even the galaxies around us. Love and compassion reign supreme, and there is a lack of judgment. You understand that everyone is just on their own journey, even the deep state bubbas, right? There's some super dark stuff they do, but they're on a journey and they got trapped in that. Maybe, they were pushed into that, a lot of them, I believe, trained to be in that level of consciousness. Very unfortunate. To a certain extent, if it's been generational levels of consciousness in the dark realm, whoever's born into that is usually in that level of consciousness, unfortunately. So multiple generations and you get stuck there. It takes a lot of work to get out of there. But there are people that have showed us that they have done that. Kathy O'Brien, who I've had on the show very many times, is a great example for humanity that even on those extremely low levels of consciousness with multi-generational abuse, you can rise above that. All right, so from the state, you know that there is no competition and there is enough in the universe for everyone. So stop coming in and saying, "Oh, you're like grifting." I'm not. I don't grift. I don't ever. Actually, haven't seen that quite some time. So I'm very, very happy about that. But I'm not a grifter. I try to help people in everything. In everything. If you find something that's valuable in the stuff that I do, go to what I promote, and you're going to find value because I do that stuff, and I would not present that to you if I didn't feel that it was exceptionally important for you to do that. So. And I've also got great success from it. You feel overwhelming emotions of love, and I do. I'm like, dang, it is. Where's my testosterone level? And so, but as I advance as a warrior, guys, into these realms, a warrior of the light, and there was no longer any kinetic need for a lot of the stuff that I had at once known there was kinetic need. It's not needed anymore. And I'm going to have more and more people on that are going to talk about this, how they have done non-kinetic activity and stopped stuff like I have. All right. So, and I know this rails against some people, especially guys. But I can tell you, I'm very happy about the numbers of men that are watching, because I can see one of the good things about YouTube is I get to see throughout all these different things. I get to see, who watches age-wise, male and female. So for the longest time, my stuff was mostly 70% or more, 75% women, because women understand intuition and they understand the creative side of the brain, right side of the brain. Men, not so much. But now we're at 60-40. We're at 60-40. And actually a little bit more. About 41% men are actually coming in and watching these shows and these programs. So very, very. And if I go like hardcore male stuff, then it's more men, right? But I don't do that much anymore. So it is, intuition is the way to go, guys. Your intuition is extremely strong. You feel connected to angelic beings. You guys have heard of my Archangel Michael experience, and I am very connected to the angelic realm. Many of us are connected. All of us can be connected. Maybe you have some dark angels if you're Betty, but still, you're connected to the angelic realm if you want that. That is very, very prominent for all of us. All right. So that's the 3 and 5D, guys. It's simple, right? It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. So you got 5 generational warfare that's going on right now. And intuition, the sixth sense, basically takes us to a level where we can manifest five-dimensionally. If you're actively in intuition, you're pretty much in 5D. If you're actively in intuition and you feel love for everyone and everything, even the baddies, I know that's very hard for a lot of you. I've done many shows over the years. I've been to many audiences throughout the years. And this is a very hard one for people to grasp, that even the baddies, if you're sending them love, that's like the light warrior. You take away their power. And you're not fighting them. You're just sending love. And so I know it's very, very hard. Very, very hard. So, if you've been paying attention to my stories and my books and so forth, you know that the love frequency is the way to go. All right. So that's 5-dimensional understanding. All right. So there is a very interesting person out there, Trader Girl Q. I saw her on Nino's Corner. Nino, me, and several other people that are, Scott McKay, Lewis Herms. There's several of us that are pretty much, we all talk the same stuff. I watch Nino shows. I'm like, God, stuff I just put out. I'm thinking about putting out stuff and he's putting it out, or Scott's putting it out. So we're all kind of in that 6-dimensional or 5-dimensional realm, sixth sense. We're really tapping into that, guys. So I hope you guys are like, if you're not watching me consistently, you're watching one of those guys, or all of us, in and out, whatever. But all of us are pretty much, revealing stuff on this level. So Nino had Trader Girl Q on, and she talked about the possibility that there was going to be some kind of attack soon, right? And she's got really good stuff. I highly recommend you follow her. She is on Rumble. Here's her Rumble channel, Trader Girl Q. See right there? Right? Trader Girl Q. She's only got 3,000.48K followers. I can't believe it. She should have 100,000 or more. Right? So anyway, she's got really good stuff, and I'll show it in a minute. But first of all, I want to show, and I don't have her permission to do, I'm not going to run her channel, but I just want to show you what she's got. Movies that destroyed the Golden Gate Bridge. So she's been talking about that. She does gematria. She looks at the numbers. She does an excellent job of that. There are things in the numbers. They try and act like God. God, you see numbers all the time if you're connected to God. If you're in that love vibration, you're going to see numbers. They're just going to pop all the time. You're going to see connection with the universe, and numbers and so forth is mathematics that run through the spiritual realm. So the dark side, they can play with these numbers, but usually they're manipulated, and they try and play like they're giving you truths, right? Like I'm giving you truths, but they try and hide the truths, and then they come out with like something like the Golden Gate Bridge gets destroyed, right? And they were like, well, we showed you in the movie Godzilla and Pacific Rim, Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus, Superman, Star Trek, Monsters, Aliens, The Core, X-Men, Last Stand. So all these were showing the Golden Gate Bridge being destroyed. Kind of like what they did with the Twin Towers. It was in all kinds of stuff before the Twin Towers went down. It was in Back to the Future. They showed the Twin Towers and in the Back to the Future, all kind of crazy stuff. And numerology, all this stuff, guys, it comes out. So they try and play like we're revealing truths to you. We showed you, and they try and play God. All right. So we know there is only one God, but Lucifer in his realm of dark angels, and those that are attracted to the dark path, do this type of stuff and have these type of movies and pay for these movies to come out, and they put this information in it. They steal information from others. I had lunch with Tom Althouse today. He wrote The Matrix, and they stole it from him. So I've had him on several shows, and probably going to have him on a show pretty soon. But this is something that these guys do. They play with consciousness. They want to act like gods, and I think they do a poor job of it. But some people are attracted to it, unfortunately. So that is where that's at. So I'm gonna start to move through some of the stuff a little quick, because I have a LifeWave show, and you can come and join the LifeWave show, where we have miracles, people that have had miracles with LifeWave. It's incredible. So LifeWave, I've been wearing LifeWave for 2.5 years. It was designed for Navy SEAL teams. It's absolutely phenomenal. I highly recommend it. So the Defense Department is taking significant steps to reinstate service members who were discharged due to the now rescinded COVID-19 deep state Bubba's vaccine mandate. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So as of right now, 8,700 service members had their careers ended when basically the military, and I was stunned. First of all, I thought there's no way the military is going to allow the election to be stolen from Donald Trump. And then I was like, there's no way the military is going to allow itself to be vaccinated with this harmful substance. And I was wrong. Wrong on both counts. So very, very frustrating. But former service members who were involuntarily separated solely due to their COVID-19 vaccine status are now receiving letters of apology from the department in the mail, along with instructions on how they can pursue returning to service. So Hegseth is really on this. Executive order signed on January 27th. Thank you, Donald Trump, President Donald Trump. Labeled the mandate unfair, overbroad, and completely unnecessary. Hegseth published implementation guidance in February 2025. All right. So they're bringing back a lot of the service members that were wrongfully excommunicated from the military. All right. Meanwhile, a judge allows CIA to fire doctor who helped enforce military COVID-19 mandate. All right. What? What? How does the CIA get involved in what happens in the CIA? Well, I can tell you, they're very much involved in what the military does, guys. So look at this. Judge allows CIA to fire a doctor who helped enforce military COVID-19. So Dr. Thierry Aderim, Acting Assistant Defense Secretary for Health Affairs, gives an update on COVID-19 at the Pentagon, June 30th, 2021. So federal judge has denied emergency bid by Dr. Thierry to halt her dismissal from the CIA, rejecting her claims that political activists orchestrated her firing in retaliation for a role in enforcing the military's COVID-19 vaccine mandate. Wow. It's coming down, guys. So we talked about how the good judges were going to start to move in our favor, and the bad, we're going to go bye-bye. All right. So she says she's become a target of politically motivated campaign led by activist Ivan Raiklin. She claimed in her lawsuit that Raiklin defamed her as a traitor and architect of the Pentagon's COVID-19 vaccine mandate, and that he enlisted fellow activist Laura Loomer to persuade President Donald Trump to intervene with the CIA to have her fired. So that's what she's saying. But is that, who knows? Her lawsuit names the CIA, Raiklin, CIA Director John Ratcliffe, and the conservative nonprofit America's Future as defendants. It alleged due process violations, defamation, breach of contract, and a Privacy Act violation stemming from. So, bottom line, was she involved in this? Seems like this is coming to be known. All right, so we'll see where this goes. So this is just now popping. The political and legal controversy surrounding the military's COVID-19 vaccination mandate intensified just days before the court's ruling. On May 7th, the Pentagon issued sweeping new guidance acknowledging that the mandate had been an unfair, like I just said, overbroad and completely unnecessary burden on service members. Wow. So does that bring all those guys back that were killed by that vaccine? I don't know. So interesting, right? We're moving very quickly into not a 5G, against us, but a 5G against the deep state, right? It's really starting to turn. The tables are turning. And of course, fifth dimensional consciousness, the intuition, the creativity to work around their control system is really starting to kick, guys. I'm very, very excited. It's a very exciting time. You should be very excited. Are you guys excited? If you're excited, I'm excited. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. I know that blah, 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 blah. I don't know. Okay, stop yourself. All right, so let's look at the next little thing. So, of course, they're going to try and shut down power everywhere. So it's happening. Almost the entire London Underground was down after a massive power failure on the network. All right, so yes, absolutely. Sunshine. All right, good job. I'm excited, Heidi. Good. All right. See, all the girls are excited, but the guys, come on, guys. Let's get it. Let's get excited. Sam, you're just saying lots of laughs. Come on. I'm excited. Let's go. All right, so a brief power cut at about 2:30 p.m. all but paralyzed the Capitol's tube network with entire lines suspended and severely delayed. Ecstatic. Oh, that's even better. Okay, George, you win. George rocks. George rocking it. All right. It's good to see you smile. Hey, if I bring a smile to your face, that's good too, right? While power has been restored, parts of the mild May line, those those Brits. Mild May, come on. Still suspended. There are still severe delays in the Bakerloo and Jubilee lines. All those tongue twister Brits. Hammersmith and City and Victoria lines. Mild May, Circle. Even the London cable car was briefly shut down due to high lightning risk. High lightning, all right? So tube misery caused by National Grid fault. National Grid, which owns a high voltage electricity grid in England and Wales, has apologized for a fault on its network causing the delays. Okay, so we know that, Portugal and Spain had a big power crisis. These power crises are something that they displayed at the latest Olympic Games. They showed the world, and people fell down and power went out and all kind of crazy stuff. Wasn't that where London Bridge falling down, letter 17 post? Oh, yeah, Judy, good. So I got a very intelligent audience. I like it. All right, let me put that up there. Where it's just so fast. Nice hat, Jaco. Thank you, Robert. Robert Kennedy. Is Robert Kennedy in the house? Yes. All right, thank you, Robert. So first time I remote viewed, it was with you many moons ago. Yes, very good, Heidi. So yeah, you're tapped in then. Let's go down. My excitement is disguised. Okay. All right. But it's there, so that's good. It'll explode out somewhere. You missed our comments earlier. Sorry, Tara. Yeah, I'm doing a show. Sometimes I don't look at comments. All right, very excited. Yes, absolutely. Very good. I'm excited. Good excitement going on. Thanks for the reinsurance. Work calls. Got to go. Much love all. Good. Crush off. See you later. All right. So, all right. Crystal's excited. Everybody's excited. All right. So good. So cited. That's good. So cited. All right. Yeah. All right. So lots of you guys are excited. Lots of you guys want to be in the love vibration. Lots of you guys want to be 5D. That's good. But there are things out there that are trying to prevent that. And when you see some things, don't let it bring you down. All right. So I'm going to show you something, and I don't want it to bring you down. Say right now to yourself, I'm excited. I'm not going to let anything take me out of my excitement. All right. So here we go. Sean Ryan show. So we had Tebow on, and this is what some of the stuff they talked about. What breaks your heart the most? And she wrote down the number 20,000. I said, what does that mean? She said, it's a problem. I said, what problem is that? It's the 20,000 boys and girls that have been abused and their images and videos have been captured, but nobody has been able to identify them. And it wasn't 20,000, it was over 50,000.
Cannot deny at this point that he is now a huge phenomenon.
Tim Tebow sometimes painted John 3:16 on his eye black when he was in college.
All right, so why do you think they went after Tebow so hard? Because he was a spiritual guy. And look what he's doing now with his spirituality. He's exposing some. You have to be very, very spiritual, guys. You have to be high in that love vibration to come in and play with these evil beings, because they're very strong. But if you're strong in the love vibration, you will prevail, like Tim Tebow.
Yeah, a friend of ours that fights in this space 3-4 weeks ago was telling us a 13-year-old girl was being raped while someone would stand there and read the Bible to her. And then they would rotate and somebody else would come in and read the Bible while she would be going through this horrible evil. It was believed that they were doing this so that the worst moment of her life would be associated with God's word. If you want to read something. This forum is entitled Forced and has 50 members / contributors. The specific forum has been active for nearly 2 years. Vendor 1, what are you into? Vendor 2, but anything goes. Vendor 3, I'm 60 and a very violent man. No isn't an option. Vendor.
All right. So this was a good point that Tim Tebow brought up. horrific murder of Kenny Genovese and how it led to the creation of 911.
Nobody else does it. Well, you do it if you know your call. The story that led to the bystander effect, where Kitty Genovese is walking home late at night and she gets attacked and stabbed 4 times or something like that. And the lights turn on from the apartment complex where she's walking into, and the attacker runs away and hides behind a car. And she gets up and stumbles into the hallway of an apartment complex, and he sees no one goes to her aid. And so he comes all the way back and attacks her again. I think stabs her maybe 8 more times. I think steals $49. I believe he also supposedly over 30 people saw some of this, and it's even reported that one of the guys in the hallway opened the door and looked out. Nobody came to her aid. Make a longer story short, she died on the way to the hospital, and it was a big story, and everybody's writing and talking about it. They started studying this case. It was where the bystander effect came from, that the more people are present, the less likely someone is to do something because they...
All right, so our bystander effect is that the more of us that get involved, the more of us get involved, right? So that's a great thing about being into this 5-dimensional consciousness. As we see other people, so we're seeing like with P. Diddy, and we saw with Epstein and Ghislaine, all these people that came out that pushed back on that. And as one person came out and pushed back, Bill Cosby, people talking about the Playboy Mansion stuff, all these, once someone has the courage to come out, then you have more come out. This is 5D. That is 5D. What he just described is extreme 3D. We are progressing. We are progressing. Now, some of us have wanted to talk. Many of us have wanted to talk, but we knew that our voices would be suppressed, and suppressed to the point where suppressed to like suicided, suppressed like our whole families will be taken out. They've even threatened that. So it is tough. So now we're starting to see that as more people come out during this time frame, and we're in this just a few months of the new Trump administration, where 5D and 5G are on our side now, and we're pushing back on a massive scale, and it's gaining momentum because as people come out, we come out from behind those doors and start to help. That's where we're at. Right? And that's the exciting thing of being alive right now. So U.S.-China reached agreement to lower tariffs in a 90-day cool-off period, and the stock market went boom. It went boom, boom. Right? It was right at the point where it was ready to pull back. So Big Daddy came in and gave it a little pump, right? Big Daddy Trump. So his administration is keeping things elevated for the time being, and that's very good. We want that as long as we can have it, because at some point the system collapses. So this is the SPX Standard & Poor. It's basically what we look at as traders and stock market analysts and so forth. Not analyst, right? My wife does a really good job with words. But as you see back over here where my cursor is, that's a double top. And then we had a collapse. A lot of people were very scared. Everything was crashing. Everything. Silver was crashing. Gold was crashing. Dollar was crashing. All the Magnificent Seven were crashing. Everything was crashing. That was a taste, guys. It will happen. When it happens, it will happen a lot faster than that. So I know a lot of you guys aren't really into the stock market, and that's probably a good thing. I'm not into it. I'm not in crypto anymore because I believe this thing all of it goes bye-bye pretty soon. All right. So not completely bye-bye. Of course, there will be a buying opportunity and so forth. But if you look at this gap right here, it pumped up really, really fast and high today. It was up 184. NASDAQ was up, 4%. The Dow was up 2.8. Looks like 2.8%. That's a massive pump. But it created a gap. My mind and tongue don't work sometimes because my mind is much faster. But as you see, there's lots of gaps in here. There's gaps way back here, way down here, 500 points down. That's probably where gaps have to be filled. And these gaps back here, when the stock market went down, those gaps got filled, and they've been filled. And fortunately, today we got a little bit of a pump where it was probably about time for this thing to start to go back down again. Now, when it goes back down again, not if, but when, I think we'll probably have another downturn. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe we'll just keep going up. Who knows? Who knows with this crazy town stuff? Because we're in 3D. We're in 3D with the stock market, guys. That's why I'm not in anymore. We're in 3D with the crypto. It's 3D to me. It's not a reality thing for me. Silver is reality. It's God's money. All right. So if we look at silver today, right here, silver didn't pull back as much as gold. Gold was down a bit. I think 100 at one point. Silver's only down like right now. Silver's down 18 cents or something. So only down to like less than 1%. Gold was down over 2%, close to 3%. So it is. You're going to see the difference. There's like a big difference between silver and gold. You're going to start to see silver start to ramp back up. Now, when there's a pullback, the next pullback in the stock market, whenever that is, I'm not worried about it because I'm not invested. But some of you are. So and a lot of you think that the stock market is a barometer of the economy. It's not, right? It's a casino. It's a total casino. And if you get on the right side of it, you can make some money. I've made great amounts of money. I've lost great amounts of money, but it is what it is. So I'm not playing in it right now because I believe it's really going to go back and forth massively. So, like I said, crypto when it's down today, is that a canary in a coal mine? Little thing going on with crypto, or did it just pull back and it's going to go higher? It basically hit resistance and it pulled back. All right. Now, whether it settles back to a certain level and then goes back up and goes higher remains to be seen. All right. So President Trump announces the annihilation of the big pharma scam, cutting drug prices up to 80%. So this is a great thing. I'm running out of time, so I can't go too much into this, but the pharmaceutical drug companies would say for years that it was research and development costs. That's why Americans paid 2, 3, 4, 5 times more than everybody else in the world. And so America were the suckers of the world and alone. It was only America that, paid these ridiculous prices. So now his prices will be reduced almost immediately by 30 to 80%. Maha, baby. Maha, make America healthy again. We're moving in the right direction. Meanwhile, pharma crash. Rite Aid and Walgreens among top pharmacies closing 2,240 locations and shock moves dominating shutdowns in 2025. 3 major healthcare providers have closed or filed for bankruptcy in 2025, disrupting care for millions of Americans. We have Chester Molester Medical Center have closed, and many of the nurses and doctors and so forth that work for them haven't been paid for months, and they're not going to get paid. Wow. Since then, all right, so the company cited massive debt and thousands of lawsuits. This is Rite Aid. So Rite Aid pushed the opium epidemic. They were like, so you need a prescription for that? Okay. And lots of people died from that. And they got massive lawsuits, and it really hammered them. And then COVID came along. They needed to make money, so they pushed COVID like crazy, COVID vaccines. And now they don't have that anymore. And they're probably smart to get out of the game right now because there's probably going to be a lot of lawsuits for COVID vaccines too, guys. Coming. Meanwhile, Walgreens has also scaled back its physical footprint, and probably some of these hospitals, same thing. They're getting out while they're getting good. The company said in January it was reviewing its portfolio and shutting underperforming locations to focus on more profitable ones. Right? Hospital closures, like I talked about, Pennsylvania, more than 6 prospect-owned hospitals have either scaled back operations or ceased emergency services altogether. Not good for those small communities, because now they're gonna, if you had a heart attack or you've been in an accident, they're gonna have to like carry you like an hour away to the nearest hospital. If you're, I mean, some of those ambulances are going to have doctors in them, right, to keep people alive. Or the guys in those ambulances are going to have to be really, really, really well trained. So there's lots of pictures of these pharmacies, guys, and there's like nothing on the shelves hardly. They're collapsing. And Rite Aid CEO, our vaccine rollout was much bigger than expected. They were like just loving it back in 2021. They needed the money because they were getting hammered by lawsuits from, basically killing people in the opioid epidemic and being held responsible. Now they're going to be held responsible for doing the same thing with COVID vaccinations. So now they're getting out while they're getting good. Prior to the corona pandemic, patients could walk in to receive vaccine for shingles and pneumonia or get a flu or strep test. However, that all changed over this past year and a half when Rite Aid realized they could make a lot of money and the need for effective scheduling system. So they scheduled people like crazy, and they came in and got the death shot. All right. So let's go into some evidence of that, and that's in Florida. So this is from Reventure Consulting. He and I have been saying for 2 years, you better get out. You better sell your house. You better get out. Florida historical births versus deaths. Look at that spike. Look at that death spike. Where do you think that was in history? Yeah, after the vaccination. Yeah. So look how high that was compared to the birth rate. So more deaths, not enough births, and that's the way it still is. So Florida is losing. They're actually in a negative. So if you look at this, this is Nick right here. Excellent information. Good job, Nick. Keep it up, brother. All right. So now if you look at these numbers, you see Florida is 0.96, which means the birth and death rate, there's more deaths than births. So Florida is going into a negative. And you look at all these purple and bluish states: New Mexico 0.93, Oregon 0.91, Pennsylvania 0.93, West Virginia 0.68, South Kakalaki, where I was born, 0.99, Mississippi 0.94. So these are negative. They're going into negative. Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, all into the negative zone. New York hanging in there, 1.27, Georgia 1.29, Texas 1.69. And who's the winner of the birth race? Utah. Yeah, those Mormons. Woo, got lots of wives. 2.1. All right, Arizona 1.14. Nevada 1.10. So sketchy. Montana just barely hanging in there with 1 to 1. So I think all of these numbers are going to start to go backwards, unfortunately. Texas, the nexus of the Mexus is 1.69. So what's going on in Texas? Are people moving there? People moving out of Florida? Right? People that are young. So here in Florida, oh, I gotta go. Sorry, guys. I got a lot more to put out, but that's the way it is. All right. So I'm multitasking. If I could do both the shows at the same time, I would do it, but I can't. So lots of love. You know what? Stay in that love vibration, and you will do well. All right. I'll see you guys next time.